All right. All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 200, 204. Entrepreneur. Hey, it's your boy Kaleo. There's CB, there's E-Rich, there's Sammy Slayedit. It must be Baddie Behavior. Monday, it's Thursday. Shit, Thursday. And our special guest for this evening, Uncle Danny, a.k.a. Germaine. Welcome into the show. Oh, we're off to a grand start. The NFL is alive and well tonight. I know my third screen has the NFL game on it, so, prepare for some live updates. But other than that, hey, look, it's September 5th. We are in September already. I think that's a good thing for me because August is always the worst month out of the summer. The humidity and just the heat index around here. The humidity, the heat index just kicks it all the way. Is bad. So in September means, we're going to have less sunlight starting to approach, but cooler days because it was like 75 here in the DMV, 66 this morning on my commute into work. But y'all didn't come to hear me talk about the weather. CB, what's good with you, bro?
Yo, Dimitri, man, golly. Yo, man, like I was saying, it better not be Monday.
You're right.
Ready for the weekend. Happy that football is back. Happy that we got Sammy back on the show, and we got a great guest, man. I'm pumped. So, yeah, fantasy football is in full swing. Yeah, we're back.
How many teams you got this year?
I haven't counted, but it's got to be at least 20. So,
all paid leagues or some fun leagues in there?
Nah, there's some fun stuff in there, but that also doesn't include the, I don't know, few $1,000s I have in best ball, which is like not even managed. So, NFL football does not stop for me. It doesn't matter what month it is. I've been drafting teams since like April. So
got you. Okay. E, what's good with you, bro?
What up? Man, you already know what it is. Listen, I don't know who did what, who said what, or who did what to somebody, but all the damn heat that came out to the West, bro. I think like today was like 98 out here. That's crazy. So I stayed my ass in the house all day to work. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, listen, man, I'm good. Have a good show. We got some good segments. We're gonna have a great show today.
Okay, Sammy, welcome. Good to see you. It's been a minute. Episode 200. A few weeks.
Yeah. 4 episodes. I've just been living. It's month end at work, and we're implementing new systems. So that's it. Work. Oh, in the business. Y'all see that?
Okay. All right, look, I saw it. We're going around to that. We'll talk about that when it gets to Baddie Behavior. And our other guest for the night, Dandy, aka Germaine. Welcome into the show. Look, I'm glad we were able to make this happen. Kind of last minute though. But how's everything? How's your week?
That's an honor, man. I appreciate it because I was thinking about it. I mean, you already talked about it. 200 episodes. Like, I'm in a podcast nut for years, like from the beginning, and nobody makes it more than a dozen. So, for a collaborative podcast to make it like triple digits, that's crazy. So I appreciate being able to come on. And no, it's a good week. Last week we had the heat, so I know I see the temperatures up into 100 on the West Coast. I'm in Buffalo. It's like 69, 70. This is beautiful. Like, this is perfect.
Yeah. All right. So let's see who we got in the room tonight. We got, let me scroll up. Atusa was here early. My man Didi, Dave J on the mic. Dimitri, Risa, good to see you. We got regular guy, Cardo, what's good? Britt B, is that Lana 33, who's here for Sammy? Okay. So with all that said, look, we got a lot to talk to tonight, a little bit of time because I know everybody wants to watch NFL. First night of kickoff for the NFL. So with all that, let's wrap. Couple good topics tonight. So I was riding into work this morning, trying to figure out, something different to do from the less rap. The headlines are always, especially past couple of days, headlines are so grim. And we know what happened out in Georgia. So prayers to those families, all those involved. Another one, right? So I figured I was trying to figure out which way to go. And on the radio this morning, one of the topics was their talking points. So I'm taking this from the radio because it's an interesting talking point. It was, should paternity tests be mandatory at birth? Now, I started thinking about this. I'm like, I think so. My personal opinion, yeah, why not? There's probably more positives than negatives by issuing a mandatory, paternity test at birth. One, because we've seen Maury before, where a lot of guys go to raise these kids and they spend a lot of time raising these kids and find out that they're not their kids, right? And then that's got to be shocking, or that's bad for all parties involved, especially the kid and the families that have invested into said kid that may or may not be that parent, right? So, but then also, like, maybe one of the negatives. So, but this affects everybody. Again, married couples, dating couples, and hookups, right? If you're a married couple, the kid should be yours, right? That test come back to say that ain't yours. But that's not a far-fetched statement I just made. So I think so. I think that it should be mandatory. And if all parties involved are honest and true with themselves, the test should go the way you think it should go. That could be a yay or a nay. So I'll get your thoughts on this. Implementing mandatory paternity tests at birth. Let's start with you, E. Look like you got a lot on your mind.
Why are you going to start with me on this one? I don't
know, because it's hot in LA.
It for sure is hot. Anyway, yeah, listen, I don't know. Like, it should be, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know what it comes down to. I think when you look at it more on the kind of crucial side, right? Like, you have it to where, people's lives get ruined from this. You know what I'm saying? You also have like situations where I think for me it's like, why is that not like kind of done when it's like time to either sign, the birth certificate? Because I really think that also kind of plays a part in the whole situation. Is like, you sign the birth certificate, there's also the whole last name situation. But in some states, like I said, if you, I think I read it was like, if, let's say a young lady has a child and is still legally married and she actually conceives another child, like, if she's technically married to that first dude, he is actually on the hook for child support for that child. Like, it's some really wild, like, rules and regulations for this. So to see this not be like a mandatory thing is kind of crazy.
Right. Okay. CB.
So I don't think it needs to be mandatory, but if the dude wants one done, I feel like he should be able to be like, yeah, nah, we should be able to have one. So one of those things where as a mixed kid growing up, if I was out at the grocery store with my mom or dad, there was a chance that strangers didn't believe I belonged to either of them. So one of those things where for the people that are really worried about it, I think that they should at least have the option. It should at least be on the table. So, but mandatory, but it should at least be something that if you want to check the box and say, yeah, add that in, let's go do it.
Okay. Now let's also not forget the child support side of this instance, right? Because you don't have to find out necessarily at birth that that's not your kid, and you could have been paying child support for some years. Sammy, thoughts?
I'm kind of with CB on this one. Like, it doesn't have to be mandatory, but like the option should be there if they say, "Hey, I want to test." Yeah, let them get a test. I ain't got no dog in the fight. I ain't never had to question who my baby's father was.
Okay. All right. Dandy, thoughts?
I don't know. I would say don't necessarily call it mandatory. Just say it's part of all those tests that they run anyway. When the baby's born, you're running all these different tests because what happens is if the man wants one, it's almost like what do they call it? Prenups. You bring it up and now all of a sudden it's a problem just because you brought it up, and the same thing even for the mom. Like, let's say she has slept with a couple guys and she wants to know, don't make her say that. Don't make her ask in front of her man. Just make it a mandatory thing. And that way, whatever comes out, because, some people may be fearful, just like people don't want to go to the doctor when they got stuff. So now you take that pressure off both parties. Like, the government's going to do it. It's going to get run with everything else. And at least that way, if you're going to start chasing and hounding people down for 20 years for child support, at least, everything's legit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that I think that, like you said, in some courts, again, I've seen cases where even if you aren't and you're already paying child support, like, you are on the hook for child support. Like, some of these state laws are horrible. And most times, like, when it comes to paternity and child support and all, it typically sides with the mom, right? In most of these cases, right? So the mom could make the claim or the accusation, yeah, that is his kid. And the judge is going to go with that, rock with it. I think Maryland is one of those states where if she tells the judge, this is his kid, that's it. So, and you're on the hook. So I agree with all you all. I mean, mandatory, that's going to bring a lot of skeletons out of the closet, especially if somebody not living right. Shout out to Britley Show that walked in and Chastity. So I don't know. Like I said, quick topics. We can continue that in the what did Britley Show say? Put that up. I think it should be mandatory unless the father feels like he doesn't want one. Okay. All right. Next one, another little fun one that I ran across. Actually, shout out to moms, because mom sent me this morning and was like, "What are your thoughts on this?" Yeah. So Hormel, yes, Hormel is getting. They are releasing a limited time offer, a cinnamon toast crunch bacon. Now, I don't know. Off first glance, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I would do this, but we eat French toast with bacon, right? Some of us have cereal with bacon. And I know some people who put sugar on their bacon. Now, the only thing that kind of throws it off is probably the dust of cinnamon. But have y'all ever put sugar on your bacon?
I ain't put it on my bacon, but I bought like the brown sugar maple bacon. Yeah, okay. But I don't just like go in and say, "Hey, sugar for the bacon."
Okay. Do you know I'm not chefing it like that?
Do you eat cereal with your bacon?
No. And I don't even eat real like regular bacon. I eat turkey bacon. So
yeah, I mean,
you're mixing hot and cold. Like, how are you gonna have a hot breakfast, hot bacon, and cold cereal? It's like one or the other. So if I'm getting out the frying pan, I'm not getting out a cereal bowl.
So after, because me and E talked about the Skittles drinks last week, right? I'm definitely not trying that. I might be willing to try this, because when's the last time you had bad bacon or bacon paired with anything that was bad?
This time when you try it.
All right, hold on. So let's just talk about this. Your thoughts. Would you be willing to try it?
No. I feel like I would be stressed trying this. Just why? I mean, I don't put the cinnamon toast in my mouth with the bacon at the same time. So I don't. No, it's a no for me.
If they want people to die. CB.
I might be on an island here, but y'all know when it comes to like the weird food stuff, I'll at least try mostly everything.
I would try. I would try with you.
And thing is no, I don't chef up my own bacon, putting sugar and stuff on there. But I've been out to, a breakfast spot, and if they've got, the maple bacon or whatever, I'm probably trying it. You know what I mean? So, am I gonna go out of my way for this? Nah, but you guys know me, bro. I eat Taco Bell multiple times a week. Am I gonna turn away something like this?
And come on now.
Oh, you wild. You wild man.
And what's even crazier about it is, Sammy, I will eat Taco Bell sober. It's one of those things where like this is a lifestyle.
Oh,
this
so
is
now
not,
you really got a problem.
This is not like this ain't a game. This is how we're living out here.
Can you imagine somebody in Afghanistan starving and they see Didi eating cinnamon toast crunch bacon wearing a ponytail?
But for real though, y'all remember like every sitcom ever, they come down for the 2 seconds of breakfast, and it's like the biggest breakfast of all time. That's the only time I've ever seen a bowl of cereal and bacon on the same table like that.
Okay.
I mean, this is just a hell no. Like, I mean, I don't even know why we're discussing this. Like, this, I mean, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because one thing is supposed to pair with another doesn't mean that you should. Like, I guess what I'm saying is leave bacon alone. Like, yeah, maple, we're cool, but it's just like you adding extra shit to this that just don't really, it's not supposed to go. Like, now you just throwing shit to the wind and seeing what sticks. And who the hell about to pay for this with this economy, though? To say, like, yo, I got that cinnamon toast crunch bacon. Like, that's wild.
Okay. Thoughts, Andy?
I don't know. I mean, a pig died. Like, you got to show a little respect for the animal that died. You know what I mean? And the thing is, that seems like that's the exact gateway to 600-pound life. I mean, respectfully.
I mean, what about cinnamon toast crunch chitlins? Let me stop.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're doing the most now because chitlins.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Where are we at now?
Bro's blood sugar must be low.
So whose blood sugar must be low?
Yours.
I would try it. It can't be that bad. I mean, like one piece. I'm not gonna have a whole. Maybe just one piece. That's about it.
Yeah, she get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. She get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. Girl, do it. Yeah, she get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. She get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. Girl, do it.
All right.
Double take. Got a double
So good,
take.
had to play it twice.
Got a double play. I mean, you hadn't been on a while, so why not? All right.
Be in the corner crying somewhere.
Who?
Be easy in the corner crying right now.
Why? Why you say that?
Don't start. Don't start.
He can't get it played one time.
Hold on.
He ain't even around to hear it.
Here you go.
I got that man working. All right. So, Baddie Behavior. What do we have tonight?
Hey, okay. So, Baddie Behavior tonight. We are transitioning from summer clothes to the fall. We want to use as much of our summer clothes as we can, so we don't have to go shopping no more. You use what you got in your closet. Okay, we saving money. Baddies save money. Baddies look good. All right, so starting off here, we're starting off with a nice summer dress. This is a cute little baby doll dress. Dressed it up with some cute little sandals, some heel sandals, and a purse. So in order to hype it up a little bit, for the fall, of course, your legs might be a little bit cold, but if you really that serious about your legs, you can put some tights on or something. But we kept the summer dress, added a long sleeve top, and then added some boots. It was that simple. I know everybody usually has like a button down shirt and some boots, like either white or black boots in their closet. So simple.
Okay.
All right. And then there's the last one. Oh, we can barely see it a little bit with the graphics. Dang, Kaleo. What? No, but this last one, it's a side slit dress. That's often worn in the summer with some cute heels, some sandaled heels, and I wanted to like spice it up and bring that over to the fall because it will be cold. So I paired that in the first pick. I paired that with a leather jacket and some leather boots. There we go. Look at you. Okay. But yeah, so a leather jacket and some leather boots. And then on the other side, to keep it, fall worthy, I paired it with a turtleneck and some knee-high leather boots. And you should be warm. Of course, you got that little thigh out, but again, if you want to put some tights with it, you do that. But y'all know I'm gonna have a little bit of skin somewhere. So.
Okay. All right.
And then if y'all want to...
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
If y'all want to see these, like coming together, me putting the outfits together, y'all make sure y'all follow You Slaying It, and I have these and a few more outfits to put out.
Oh, okay. So tell us now that we're here. Tell us about what your startup, what you got going on.
All right, so You Slaying It. I'll basically be working to style people, and I also offer one-on-one makeup sessions, so you can learn how to do your makeup. I do not do your makeup, but I teach you how to do your makeup so you don't need me as often. And I also will be offering confidence building sessions. So y'all go ahead, follow You Slaying It, and be on the lookout. We're going to be a big business.
Yeah, she get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. She get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bad when she walk. Girl, do it, do it, do it.
All right, now's the time. And Sammy, why you're here? Because it's time for DC Shop Pie. Save 10%. WRSC10 at the DC Shop Pie. Now, Sammy, you won one of the pizzas that we gave away on the 200th episode, and you recently dropped a review for us for DC Shop Pie. Tell us your thoughts. How was the pizza?
The pizza was really good. Like the pepperonis stood out the most for me and my team of chaotic people. The pepperonis were like, I don't know, they were just like really rich. They tasted like actual pepperonis. I don't know how to explain it, but they tasted like actual pepperoni. I love the deep dish feel for the pizza because I'm a deep dish girly. I like bread when I can get some. So, yeah, I would recommend it. I definitely will be stopping by whenever I go back to DC. So,
okay,
I'll get y'all one.
Perfect. And then, so now we know that DC Shop Pie will ship to you. So, holla at Grant. And when you order, save 10%. WRSC10. Now, if you haven't seen this pizza right here, so look, Chicago Deep Dish Pizza, Black owned, part of our Black business series that we feature here on the We Are Something Else podcast. So, check them out. All that good stuff. Shout out to Grant and the good folks of DC Shop Pie. And where we at? No, let's not do that right now. E, we're going to come back to you. Let's go ahead and welcome in Uncle Dandy, a.k.a. Germaine. It is where we at? It is time. It's time. All right, so typically how this works is we're going to go around, kind of round robin, ask you a couple questions based on, your bio and just, some interesting things we need to learn about you. And I've met you on the AMP streets. Mm-hmm. And immediately, normally, when it comes to that side of entertainment is you connect sonically with somebody, right? You hear the kind of groove somebody's trying to create. And I remember every time coming into Bougie Jukebox, there's always a groove. And it was always a good time. And, the chat on AMP was a little different than Station Head. But, yeah, that's kind of the community where I met a lot of these folks here. So my first question for you. So in your bio, you say urban farmer. Now, a lot of people who follow you know the livestock that you had going on there and just the lifestyle that you live. So tell us a little bit how you got into farming. What took you there?
It really initially necessity, like we didn't want to starve. So my wife and I, we've been married going on 27 years. And when I met her, like I'm born and raised like in a city. She's from like South Jersey rural area. And So when we met, even though she was in an apartment, she had tomato plants like on her patio, apartment patio. She always had stuff growing. So once we started dating, got married, I kind of got into it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I like plants. So then each time we bought a house or moved, we always had a little garden. The house where we're at now had a large plot, like a city lot next to it where a house was torn down years ago. So there's this large empty lot. So we just had tomato beds, herbs, stuff like that, just kind of stuff you can go out and get when you're cooking, right? But each year we would add to it. So when the pandemic hit, I was eligible for unemployment, but New York State had such a backlog that the governor at the time, Cuomo, was saying, hey, you're going to get paid, but we got to get through this backlog. It went on for maybe like 10, 12 weeks, saying you're going to get paid and you'll get everything retroactive. But in the meantime, I just had my savings. So we had money, like we were okay because I didn't have a lot of bills, but at the same time, no money was coming in. So I'm like, I got this land. We can't eat the grass. So every day I would just go to Home Depot, get lumber, build a bed. I knew a farmer outside the city who had horse manure for compost, had that trucked in. So that first year of the lockdown, every week we were just building, growing, building, planting, growing. And then it just got to the point like over the years, I had always wanted chickens and stuff like that because we had the space. But with the 9 to 5 hustle and everything you got going on, my wife was like, no, we don't have time for that. We got this project on the house, got to do that. But once we were stuck here at home, it was just kind of like, all right, let's do it. So I just jumped in with both feet. Like I had a lot of knowledge, like book knowledge and YouTube for years. And I had interned on a farm like before I used to live in Jersey when we got married. And when we moved back to Buffalo, it was kind of like out of necessity, just the high cost of living. And just before we moved, things were so bad that I worked on a farm for the produce. Like we were just getting by on one income. My wife didn't want to go back to work raising our son. So one day she was in supermarket or community center and there was this billboard or poster that she saw saying, work for food. It was a farm. They said, you come work, you give us so many hours labor, you get some of the produce at the end of the week. So I interned there with them for a few months before moving back. So I got a hand in raising pigs and goats and just how to farm instead of just hobby gardening. So once the pandemic hit, it was just kind of like, all right, it's go time. So ordered chickens. Next thing you know, I ordered some bees and, just learned by trial by fire pretty much.
Yeah. E, go straight down the line.
Oh, okay. Shit. I was just listening like, damn, that shit is crazy. Now I can see why you added the segment with the bacon and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which just
but, you gain a real respect for animal. I mean, you start to see that food started somewhere. And even though we know farmers give us our food, but when you actually have to hustle, like a tomato takes 90 days. So you might be eating a salad. You know how you get to the end, you see that little tomato, it's like, I don't want that. You just toss it. But if you take a seed and you raise it for 90 days, I'm eating the tomato skin, all that little jello. I mean, we make our plates clean. Like there is no waste once you grow it yourself,
Gotcha.
So what's been is there one kind of crop or maybe vegetable that's more in demand up in your area that do you like highlight one thing over another, or is it just like you pretty much just farm what you eat?
Yeah, you know what? We started off like even as a hobby. When my son was younger, he's on the spectrum, high functioning, but he had issues like as a toddler, like just like these meltdowns and these tantrums. And one day when he was having one of these tantrums, my wife went and got him a bowl of blackberries, stuck it in his mouth, and he calmed down. Then she looked it up and said, oh, blackberries and blueberries, these type of fruits had these antioxidants and it's good for kids who are on the spectrum, or it's good to calm them down. So then the next day she ordered some blackberry plants and they grow in like a long stick, like a cane. You put them in the ground and then they spread, they keep multiplying. And the same thing with strawberries. He likes strawberries, but in the store, they're like, the blackberries are like maybe $4 for a half a pint, like those little tiny trays. Organic strawberries, the same thing. And it was like, I couldn't afford that. So then we started growing that. So that's when we just started saying, you know what? I can't afford organic blackberries or strawberries. let me grow it. And it happens to grow well here. Same thing with garlic and onion. It's hard to find that organic, and those are the type of things that are some of the worst things to eat that's non-organic. So yeah, we pretty much just grow ingredients, so we don't have to go and buy a lot of things from the store. It's like, no, we can stock. We got, your garlic, your onions, your bay leaves and parsley, all these different things that you have in your cabinet. We kind of have it fresh, so at least that way we can just build and put stuff together. So if everything's shut down, I can still go outside, and for months, even I could probably even if we had to, I could probably go a year without going to the grocery store. And for a good maybe 7 to 8 months of that, we're eating almost gourmet just by the food that we put away.
Wow. CB.
So, Dandy, we know you most, I guess, initially from the AMP streets. So, how did you get involved on that platform and all that?
It's funny, and people who were on AMP for a long time saw a lot of different name changes. So when the pandemic started, we opened up my wife started an Instagram account and locked it just for like documenting what we were doing on the urban farm. She's like, oh, you know what? I don't want to put this we would put it on our personal page, and people were like, I'm tired of looking at tomatoes and stuff. So then she just set up another one, just made it private, didn't have any followers. And it was just a way of like, okay, this is just free photo storage. So after about 8 or 9 months, she unlocked it and people started following it. And we just said, you know what, we're not going to push this just organically. If people want to find it, they'll find it. And once it really got rolling, people generally liked the content we were putting on there. So then I started looking for something else to kind of offer people, because they were like, do you have classes, this? And it's kind of hard to like grow food and make content. So I went looking, and I'm like, people liked a lot of my reels. I would always pair music with my reels, and I would always get comments like, oh, I love that song. You got such great taste in music. Do you make playlists? And right around the time I got like multiple comments, I went looking for something and I found AMP. So I went on the AMP with the name of our Instagram thing and started offering like, hey, people wouldn't come over. Like, and then I realized, well, music has nothing to do with urban farming. Like, people aren't going to cross platforms for this, but this was my passion. So, and it was a way of like me kind of separating, because I work from home. My wife is a stay-at-home wife. So we love each other, but we spent a lot of time doing everything together. So this urban farming was like just one more thing that we're connected with. And it's cool, but we would reach points where she would be like, don't you have somewhere to be? Like, she would kick me out. And I'll have moments where I would do the same thing to her. So then once I had AMP, she was like so happy. She's like, oh, you on there with your little radio friends? And then I realized, okay, yeah, I can, go off and do this. So that's really how it was just a form of separation for me.
It's dope how it's like kind of connected into the farm and stuff too, though. It's funny how all that stuff works out.
Yeah.
Sammy?
Okay, so I have a question bringing us back to farming. What is the easiest plant to grow, and then the hardest plant to grow, and then do you talk to your plants?
Yeah, you know what? I don't talk to them intentionally, but you end up talking, like when things aren't going well. Like, it's like when if you had or have an old car and it's like it ain't acting right, you start like, please start. Yeah, when plants aren't doing what they're supposed to do, you're like, come on. And you try anything, because it's like being in Buffalo, like we have a short season. Like, summers are hot and then winters are cold. So we pretty much will put plants out in June, and then we go until like August, September, pretty much until the first frost comes, like maybe after Halloween. But 3 months is really the biggest time that we have to grow food. So I would say, I always tell people, start with herbs. Like, if you don't cook a lot, if you do just a few meals a week, you always need fresh herbs, and those are expensive. So you, in the supermarket or wherever, you see thyme, rosemary, basil, those little pots. You can just take that home, put it in the ground, or leave it in a pot and just put it on the windowsill, and you just start there, because those are really hard to kill. Like, they can pretty much take care of themselves. Okay. But the hardest thing, probably, I would say, I guess it's a myth. That's the one thing that I try to teach people. There's no such thing as green thumb, or you say you kill plants. Like, don't take pride in killing plants. Every plant, they're like dog breeds. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't treat a Chihuahua like a Doberman. So it's the same thing with plants. Like, each plant has a like or dislike. So just YouTube it and say, Oh, like for houseplants. Oh, I like rhododendrons. All right, just go and just look up how to grow this particular thing, and you be good.
Okay. So your answer sparked two questions. The first one be simple, and then the second one I want you to go a little more depth on. So what do you do during the winters? Because we see the Buffalo Bills games half the time get shut down because of these blizzards, right? So how do you transform your farm, or what do you do during those blizzards? And after that, talk about you wanting to get into the bees. I've seen you go live with the bees and how long it takes to form honey and stuff like that. So give us a little bit of knowledge on that.
Yeah, you know what? So the winter is like when we rest. Like you hustle from spring through the summer, the heat. Like I would say, like farming and gardening, you're on nature's schedule. So when things are growing, no, I can't go to the picnic on Saturday. Like I got to weed or I got to water, I got to harvest. And once you pull the corn, the tomatoes, the potato, once you pull it out of the ground, the clock is ticking as far as you got to eat it or process it. So we eat some things fresh, but for the most part, we're either canning it, like pressure canning in those mason jars, freezing it. Last year we got a freeze dryer where we can freeze dry things, dehydrating. So you're putting food away so we can eat all winter until the next spring and start all over again. So once the snow kind of hits, we usually go down to maybe 2 or 3 crops like kale, collard greens. Those things can actually survive the winter, and they actually taste better. Like the greens and stuff like that, they taste sweeter once the cold hits them because all the sugars concentrate. So usually I'll build like a hoop, put some plastic over it, and we eat off of that all winter. I'll just go out and remove the plastic, pull a couple leaves, cover it over, and then they don't grow anymore. They just stop growing. You just pick off of it. But on those warm days in the winter, when it gets like the 40 degrees or something like that, they actually start to grow again and then slow down. And then in the spring, we either let it there or rip it out and start over. But that's pretty much it. It's just rest and kind of retool. Like you go back and look at what you did wrong. It's like pretty much like sports. You watch the game film, like, all right, I killed this plant last year. Maybe I got to move it. This plant needs sun, or I got to build things. I got to repair things. That's pretty cool. But the bees, I wasn't interested in bees at all. Like I react like most people. You hear the buzzing, and it's like I don't want anything to do with it. But my wife wanted honey. There's lots of things since she cooks everything from scratch. So in our household, and I say from scratch, I'm like not just the food. Like she makes the ingredients. Whether it's she'll make butter, or the other day she made some cookies. She grinds the flour to make the cookies and the butter or bread and stuff like that. So she wanted the honey. She makes all of our like beauty products for her hair. She has natural hair, so skin lotion, all the lip balm, all these different things. She needs the beeswax for that, and it's expensive to buy. So she's like, "Oh, let's just get some bees." And really, she meant you do it, right? So we get a pair of suits, and I would say like to get started with beekeeping. When they say it's expensive, on average, you could probably spend between $800 to $1,000 just to get your equipment and a couple packages of bees just to get started. And then it kind of goes up from there. Once you spend about maybe 1,500 to 2,000, like getting all your hardware, you're pretty much good. Like after that, you can reuse the hardware, you can catch bees and things like that. And then everything after that is free. So the first day we went and you sign up to get bees like in the fall. And then the next spring, you go to the apiary, the person who's selling you the bees, they give you a box and it's got about maybe like 10,000 bees in the box. I get home and you go to transfer them into the hive. I open it up and I'm like, I'm just naturally a calm person when it comes to animals. Like I kind of get along with it. And it was just like, if it's got to be done, it's got to be done. Right. So even though I'm kind of scared, I'm like, I'm $1,000 in, like we got to do this. Right. So I open it up and the bees gently come out. And even though you got the veil and stuff on, and they do what's called almost like a little headbutt. They come and just check you out and they feel your energy. So if you're cool, they're cool. A couple will just tap your mask, feel what your aura is, and then they go back to doing what they're doing. Well, they do that to my wife, and she's freaking out. She's like, "Are there bees on me?" And I'm like, "There's 10,000. There are bees everywhere." Yes, there are. So every 5 seconds, she's asking me, "Are there bees on me?" But it was just she's a very hyper. When they say like people with sensory things, like sensory disorder, where you can just real sensitive to everything. That's how she is. Like, she could feel their energy, they could feel hers, and it wasn't jiving. So she lasted maybe she came out to the hive twice, and that was it. That was like 5 years ago, and she's never been out since. So it's just, and then it became something that I love. Like you go out, and when I open it up, they smell different. I don't know. It's a spiritual thing, actually. When you open up the hive and you just kind of, I describe to people, like if you're familiar with Star Trek and the Borg, when they would come onto the ship and you can just move and the Borg wouldn't mess with you unless you're a threat. That's exactly what being at a beehive is as long as you don't move funny, they're good for the most part. Jen asked the question, do they get mad that you steal their honey? Like, yeah, there's hives, there's temperaments. The queen lays an egg and they can have different temperaments. So right now, I've been doing this 5 years, and this year I got my first, like they call them spicy hive, where they're just kind of on one no matter what. And I got attacked for the first time. Like I opened it up and they just immediately they gave me like 30 seconds to a minute, and then they just kind of went off, like where they're stinging. I got gloves and protection on, but it's still like kind of like a frightening thing seeing them, their body language, knowing that they're aggressive and don't want you there. So like they're stinging me, and I thought about euthanizing them, where you take a plastic bag or you can spray them down or something and killing it. But after that, I came back, I gave them another chance, and they were cool. I took the honey out, and they gave me like 15, 20 minutes to get the honey and close it up. So fortunately, they're still out there, but they got me like 4 or 5 stings. Like a couple, I had taken my gloves off to do a couple. One got in there, one got into my boot, and it's not bad. Stings aren't as bad as it's like a really bad mosquito bite, basically.
Is that where the hot honey comes from?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, no, the honey it's always based on what they do, but yeah,
It's pretty funny.
I hate the African thing, but yeah, it's so racist that they call mean bees Africanized bees, but it's true. And I get in a lot of trouble, like in Facebook groups and stuff like that, when people bring that up. I'm like, nah, don't say that.
It was UE or CB?
Yeah, no, it's on me. So actually, that last statement that you said is kind of off of my question. How is the community of farmers around you? We kind of know that there's not a lot of us that look like us that are farmers, but then also if you are around, what's the kind of vibe that you have from the other farmers that are maybe out in that area?
It's surprising. Like it's really welcoming. Like you obviously always get a bad egg, but even when I was in Jersey, even online, like you'd be surprised, like people who get into farming and gardening and they work with nature, they're generally humble people and very generous. So if you want to know something, they always are willing to share knowledge with you. And then in person, I would only say beekeeping specifically, where you get a lot of just outside of race, snobby people. You don't have people they get into something and they just like want to gatekeep because they want to make it look like they know everything. So you got that. But then, yeah, in addition to that, being Black and having that kind of vibe, that's the one spot where I can kind of like, I walk in to get supplies or talk with people and they don't necessarily take you seriously, or they want to test your knowledge. That's probably the only spot. But outside of that, the one thing that we all have in common is I think society look at farmers and gardeners, not intentionally sometimes, but just less than or lower than. So I heard one gentleman who wrote several books and hugely famous. His name's Joel Salatin. He said, being a white man coming from a middle-class successful family, people look down on him because they were like, oh, you should be a doctor. Why are you farming? And then Asian people, they said, oh, you should be a doctor. You should be doing this. Why are you farming? So everybody kind of looked and said, yeah, regardless of what color you are, people kind of look at you sideways saying you could do better than that. But it's just something you kind of have to just deal with.
Dandy, going back to the bees, when you're talking about the different temperaments, do you guys notice any difference in the honey compare, like when we're talking about how the bees are acting and that kind of a thing?
Yeah, they always say, and that's why I didn't kill the aggressive ones, because they are a little more aggressive. That's how they work. So on days when it's a little bit cooler or it's raining, generally bees don't fly, but that hive, they would be zipping back and forth. And you even have to sometimes be careful where you place them, because if I have 5 hives back there and each one has anywhere between 20, 30,000 bees in each one. If you have a weak one, that aggressive hive will punk them and take over. So yeah, even though I would get stung every time I went in there, they were the first ones that had honey ready for me when the other ones were kind of lacking behind.
Mm-hmm.
So generally people, as long as they're not like dangerous where you just come over there and they're just stinging you for no reason, usually people euthanize that hive. But generally a spicy hive is like once you get within 8 to 10 feet, you should have gear on and be protective. But outside 8 to 10 feet, there's no threat. Like there's nothing that they have to protect. They shouldn't be doing anything. So being in the city, I watched it pretty close just because I didn't want kids or pets and stuff like that to get stung.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're hustlers. The nastier they are, the more they hustle.
Okay, hustler bees.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So I bring it back to the music. I want to know what 3 artists influence your music taste the most?
Man, you know how we get music from our parents, and I can remember my father being more eclectic. Like my mom was more just straight soul R&B. My dad, like my first concert, I was backstage at a David Bowie concert. Like he's a welder, and he got called for like a last minute job to help like repair some part of the stage. And as part of his reward, he just go ahead and just stay. They gave him pass it. He had brought me with him. So he was into rock, country, anything. So having that combination, I would say, like my earliest recollection was jazz, like vocal jazz, like Ella Fitzgerald, um, uh, Armstrong, Louis Armstrong. But then, as I would say, like from a toddler all the way through my teen years, it was really like R&B, like Stevie, I would say, James Brown, and who else? Oh, Gladys Knight. Yeah, Gladys Knight was like always playing. So everything branched out from there, but those three probably the most heavily influenced.
Okay. I think we should get ready to transition soon, so I keep everybody on that clock. But let's talk about where do you want to? I know the farm, the urban farming is there. You still have a 9 to 5?
Yeah, and the thing is I've been fortunate. So coming in, I would say the job I'm at now, I started. Coming up on three years in a couple months, and it's beautiful. Like I get to my schedule. I can work from 6. I can start anywhere from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So I do my 8 hours, but they give me a 3 hour buffer to start my day. So I usually start as early as possible. Since I work from home, I can run out, feed the chickens. I can go out, water crops. I can always run if I got deliveries and stuff like that. So I took that job specifically because it was going to interfere least with what I want to do at home, and since that really is what feeds us. And the 9 to 5 keeps the lights on. But yeah, eventually I want streams of income coming in where I could kind of leave that 9 to 5. And we've always shied away from selling things that we grow just because I didn't want to turn that into a business. I want to get away from make this, sell that, as opposed to, hey, you know what? The last 20 years we've been gardening, and for the last 5, I've been intensely doing it for myself. Let me teach you how to do this in this particular class. Let me be a counselor on the next person who's urban farming, things like that. So I'm more in like to sell the knowledge instead of sell the product. That's really what the goal is within the next year or so.
Okay. And this is a good way to transition. So you're still doing, now you're more focused on Blast Radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us where we can find you on Blast, but also tell us where you want to take this radio this radio career, because it's kind of what it is now. I mean, you're investing a lot of your time into doing it. Where do you want to perhaps take this thing?
So yeah, blast.com. Like it's I didn't know I would like it as much, like going from amp to station head and having that same chat and music format. But then I realized like I'm more of a cut up in the chat versus when I'm a host is like I can only entertain so much because I'm focused on the music. I can see the chat, and it's hard for me to do both at the same time. So Blast being audio only, and even though it lets you kind of simulcast on Twitch and YouTube, it was still too much for me. So I kind of like, if you want to DM me on Instagram or text me during the show, I'm cool with that. But I really like presenting a show just audio only on there. And ultimately, like within the next few weeks, I would like to combine the music and food. I've always enjoyed doing shows on Sunday, and that's a really good time to kind of talk about food. That's what my wife thinks, but she don't want to be on camera. So I'm really looking at testing out a couple different formats where we're teaching people. Everybody can't farm, right? But we can teach people, this is where your food comes from. This is what you should be buying and you should not be buying. And here's how you should cook it or preserve it. Or here's how you can just get by on a tight budget but eat well. But it's still kind of all surrounded by music that I curate. So I'm trying to combine all of that and hopefully that, build a community around that.
Okay. Look, y'all. Shout out to Uncle Danny, aka Germaine. We're not done with you yet, bro. So look, this is the question we ask everyone that comes on, and it's meant to stump people because we ask your top 3 albums of all time and your top 3 movies of all time. Typically, we'll have you start with the movies in a second and then do your albums. But we know that to figure out 3 is a lot tougher than to figure out 5. 5 allows for that buffer room. Like, okay, yeah, maybe, but 3, you got to be kind of accurate and precise. So let's start with that. And we've always had a lot of different answers. Let's start with your 3 movies, top 3 movies of all time, and then go to the albums.
So for both categories, I use the criteria of not just what's the best, but kind of like stranded on a desert island, okay, which could I just stand hearing or seeing over and over again? Mm-hmm. I have to go with Star Wars, the first one, just because not just the cultural significance of what it became. I just think it's a really good old-fashioned story if you just take it for what it is on face value. So I would have to go with the first Star Wars. The other one isn't a well-known movie. If you know the Coen brothers.
Yep.
So they have a movie called The Hudsucker Proxy. It's got Jennifer Jason Leigh, Paul Newman. I love that movie because I'm a huge fan. Like my mom was a huge fan of like those older movies. She even named my brother after an actor, those old black and white movies. And that's what that movie really is about. Like it kind of takes place in the 30s and 40s. I'm a huge fan of just the way people dressed and stuff like that. So that's my second one. And third, it sounds silly, but I was captivated from the moment I watched it, and I love everything about it, is The Sandlot. Like it's a kid's movie, but it was just like the first time I saw it was like a Saturday afternoon. Me and my friend went to the video store. I'm like, you like baseball? I like baseball. And I was just like blown away by like how cool it was and simple. So yeah, I still watch that maybe like at least once or twice a year.
Good storytelling. It's good storytelling. Like, friends and stuff. All right. Albums.
So this is Off the Wall was the first thing that came to mind, just because it was like Thriller is too much and I couldn't leave MJ off. So Off the Wall came first to mind. And the same thing with this one, like the movies, Peter Gabriel's So is the same thing. It's just like, it gives you a little bit of everything. And I could listen to that over and over again if I had to. And then Sade, Diamond Life.
Yeah, okay.
You couldn't torture me with that. Like, yeah, if you put me to Guantanamo and just put that on repeat, like, all right, I'm good. Like,
okay, great, man. I think Star Wars we may have heard before, but I don't think we've heard any of those other ones. So that's why we do that. I mean, it's a good challenge. We're movie lovers, hence the Smoke and Spill podcast. And we got a new episode coming shortly. And then also, hence the music. We do the abstract, and we all of us have radio shows at some point on AMP. So yeah, appreciate you for that.
So, so you had a take, is like a hot take. Is that another segment coming up?
Yeah.
Can I just add on? Like, well, no, go ahead. I'll bring, because I got one and it's related to movies, and I'm gonna get slammed for it. But
go ahead.
Black Panther is not a good movie. Like the cultural significance, 100%. The way we dressed up and everything, but the movie itself on just face value. And the reason why I think is because they made us wait so long to have that character and be the centerpiece of it. But by that time, the Marvel story was just it would have been better if he had gotten as a character his own set like Spider-Man and Captain America, if he got to come in early. But because Black Panther came in so late and you had so much to put in a short period of time, it was like, you can't tell and they did a good job for what they had, but I just think it would have been a better movie itself if he got to do like the other ones early on. But after watching, I was like, I was happy, and I was like, it was like almost like when you go to get Sprite, but then you realize it's water and what you're like, oh, this is gonna burn, and then you realize it's water. But yeah, that's my take.
That is not as bad as some of the stuff this guy that's getting ready to come up next has said. So you're about to be off though, because I'm sure he's going to say something that's going to take away everything you just said about Black Panther. All right. Well, here we are.
Yeah, we are here. So real quick, actually, Dandy, I don't know if you saw the comments, but a lot of people agreed with you. So I don't know if it's necessarily a hot take anymore. But again, you kind of got some people, the screw faces and trying to figure out what that was about. But so listen, this is definitely that portion of the show where is it just I kind of say things that people want to say, but they too scared to say it. I ruffle people's feathers again. My brother CB and I have a inside joke, but we realize that Taco Bell is actually better than Chipotle, and a lot of people don't want to own up to that. So that's where we're at with this. For this, is it just kind of. I was talking to my bro about this, and I just felt like it was something that I had to say. But 2 Chainz has a song, and he made a reference, and he said that, I hate when pretty girls snore. And I think where it's at now is that I think 9 out of 10 pretty girls actually snore. And I'm not talking about the pretty snore or the nice, cute snore, like really be getting it in to where you just be looking at them like, what is happening? Is this a whole dude like sitting there? Like, why is you snoring that loud that you just, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I feel like that has been the norm, that most pretty girls that I've come across and I've laid down next to snore. It's kind of crazy, and I need to know if is it just me. Now, again, there may be some exceptions out there where they don't snore. You know what I'm saying? But they probably like candy corn or some shit like that. Just randomly. So
or they fart in their sleep.
That could be true too. If they lactose, it's a wrap. So, but again, yeah. So, what are your thoughts? Is this a thing? Because I feel like it is. I feel like it catch you off guard. You be like, why you so pretty? Then you just at night you snoring like you work construction or some shit. Like, I don't know what's really going on. What'd you think, Cleo?
Oh, me. Oh, my bad. I thought you was gonna.
You're so messy.
I mean, look, it's true. It's true. We all know guys snore. That as it is what it is. Boom, boom. You snoring? Yeah, I know. That ain't my problem. I'm asleep. But yeah, that I agree. I agree with you. E. I mean, that from my observations in life, that's kind of dead on accurate. Do we even need to go around? Go ahead, CB.
I'm about to update all of my dating app profiles to ask if they snore, and that's gonna be it's like, oh, you don't? You better get out of here. Nah, the first I distinctly remember the first time that I was woken up in the middle of the night, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, I thought it was just me. But yeah, I'm updating all my dating profiles. Thanks, E.
All right. Now let's go around. We'll go.
I don't know. I mean, I met my wife in 1993, so at this point, she's beautiful. But this many years, yeah,
whatever.
She snores, she poop. You get to see it all. It is, you know what? It's a beautiful thing. Like early on, like when she got to the point where she was like letting go, at first I got a little offended, like, oh, why do you let me see this side of you now that we're good? But then I realized it's like, oh, there's a comfort level. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's she trusts me to leave the bathroom door open, or I'm in the shower and she wants to go number two. And it was like at first I thought that was rude, but then it was just like, oh, she loved me that much. I know y'all shaking your head, but I'm just saying
I guess it's life. It happens.
That's the secret to staying together.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
I mean, I got you. I mean, you know,
the fifth.
that's fine. We can move on from that. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, look, I think, you know, when you get to the levels of that part of your relationship, hell, you see another human being come out of a body. I don't think anything can top that. But sneakers. All right, CB. What we got for that copper chop this week, bro?
Yeah. So Jordan Brand has been releasing a bunch of info, stuff for the fall and stuff for 2025. And they're bringing these back. The Air Jordan 8 Bugs Bunny joints, one of the original 8 colorways. Air Jordan 8 colorways. And this one, well known obviously for collabing with Warner Brothers, and you know it's got the Bugs Bunny name because Bugs would wear them in the commercials and all that stuff. So these are coming back in 2025. I haven't seen what the price is going to be on them, but and Kaleo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 8s these days are going for like 200 because all the prices are up. So I will not be surprised if that is the case. We also know the price is the price. What are y'all feeling? You guys going to be checking for these when they drop next year? I think it's February is what I was seeing, but if they're $200, you guys copping the Air Jordan 8s when they retro these Bugs Bunnies. For me, I will be looking for them. I think that the 8 in general is an underrated silhouette. I think the original 3 colorways are super dope and classic, and I need a new pair in the collection. So how are y'all feeling? You copping or chopping?
E?
Oh, for sure, this is a cop. And they probably going to be about 2. I see they're probably going to go for probably about 210. I kind of see them going for about 210. But yeah, these is easily one of those. It's a nostalgia pair for us. And like you said, I think it's a sleeper silhouette of the Jays.
Okay. Sammy?
They're cute. I don't think I'm copying them. They don't stand out to me enough for me to pay $200.
Okay. Dandy, if you had an opportunity to get these shoes, get your hands on these shoes, are you gonna cop them or are you gonna chop them for fun?
No, I gotta chop. You know what? The thing is, every time I get sneakers and stuff like that, they end up in the mud. So, like, as much as I try not to, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, let me run out and do this real quick. Me and my wife, we both. And actually, I didn't get a chance to bring him out. Daydreamer said, oh, he's going to show his farming boots. And that was actually my recommendation is, you know, those Die Hard boots, you know, with the flat bottom. Those are as comfortable as sneakers. So if you're not wearing sneakers, I highly recommend some Die Hard boots. You can get them for about $100. I've gone through maybe like 3 or 4 pair because you can get the soles like replaced and the leather uppers. But even if you're just buying them new, $100, best piece of footwear.
Okay. I'm gonna cop these for sure. I got a couple pairs of 8s already. Yeah, appreciate them. Cop them. All right. Let's see where we at now. Let's go ahead and shoe and tell. This is where we bring something on. Doesn't have to necessarily be sneakers. Anything you want to talk about or share with us. So I can lead off, and everybody follows suit. So I didn't get the pair. Me and my bro have been. Well, I think a lot of us in our chat were trying to go for a couple weeks ago, but I did get a dub last week. Nice red shiny box with the little. It's got the stripes right there. And what is this? You say? Well, these are the Andre Agassi's. What are they really called? There. Well, this is Andre Agassi shoe. Is the Air Tech Challenge 2 QS, and it's got like somewhat of stained sole to kind of make it look like it's.
Aged.
It's aged well. I mean, some of the leather is kind of tumbled already. This is not quite infrared, but close enough. So, yep, Andre Agassi's shoes are being retroed. So this is probably one of my. You might see this in the top 5 talk later on in the end of the year. We'll see how everything else lands. E.
I don't know how well the box is probably going to be able to show out, but if you notice, it's almost like that. It's almost like that. if you know.
Oh boy.
Definitely caught that the good Alma Year 3s that dropped out. Hit it on the raffle. Believe on the actual Alma Year website. So definitely we already know what this is. They do a great job. I got to copy the white pair that they did a couple years back, but for sure, again, you already know what it is. The leather. I mean, they just do a good job. They got the quilted on the inside, of course, as you can see there. So, and for them to take all that unnecessary like kind of cushion out of the 3, it just kind of makes it even a more comfortable shoe to wear on a regular basis. But show how to cop a pair, and hopefully putting the good jujus out there for the 4s when they drop.
Okay. CB?
We definitely need the good juju for the 4s. Nothing super crazy, but Nike's been having some sales. So gave me an opportunity. These are the Athletic Club.
Yep.
Air Max 1s. And y'all, I mean, I'm going to assume no one in the chat knows anybody with more Air Max 1s than I do. I'll put that challenge up to most people. So, yeah, these were a cop, got them on sale, and these are clean. So, yeah, good. Shout out to Nike for putting a coupon code out there.
There you go. All right. Danny, what did you bring for shoes?
Hold on. She was asleep, but this is Junie B. Jones.
Period.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Junie girl.
I don't think
204.
Chicken.
First time ever.
First time, right? But yeah, she's sweet. So I have 11 birds, and she's the head hen, and she's cool. Like they're going on 5 years now, and they're still laying, but she gets a free pass because as the head hen, like she warns everybody if a predator's around. She lets everybody eat. Like she's basically the mother. She breaks up fights and stuff like that, and she's like always serious. Like most people look at chickens, you probably think they all have the same expression, but she really does have like a serious temperament. So I give her extra treats. I spoil her. She's got a free pass. Like whether she's laying eggs or not, she gets to go naturally instead of a knife.
She was giving head hen when you put her on the camera, like the way she looked.
Yeah, just
it was
straight,
giving head hen.
She's always just like straight all business. And sometimes I'll be like, just lighten up. No, she's always working, always on the clock. So yeah, that's my baby girl.
Period.
Sammy, bring it on home.
I'm bringing it home. I bought a boot. Well, y'all can kind of see the boot.
Yep.
This is a nice little everyday wear boot you can wear and style with some nice outfits. You'll be seeing some styles coming. There we go. Some you know what I'm doing. Some styles coming in with the boots this fall and winter. So y'all stay tuned again.
Okay. All right, y'all. Look, about 11 minutes over. That's fine. Bound to happen when you have a dope guest like Dandy, aka Germaine. Let's get the applause. And when you have Baddie Behavior on the show, bound to go over a little bit, but that's fine. So look, we got tomorrow's Friday, so that means the abstract will be live 12:05 noonish Eastern Standard Time, right after the Kindle B Morning Show, which starts at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. And then Dan, you got anything going on tomorrow on Blast?
No. I'm usually on. I mean, every now and then I'll pop up like on Thursday or Friday nights, but typically I'm on Sunday night at 8 and Monday nights at 9 p.m. And yeah, I'll be in y'all shows just cutting the fool like everybody else.
All right. But look, we want to thank you again because look, you could have been doing anything this evening, and we always appreciate when people spend their time with us and just, you know.
No, I appreciate you for having me on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Sammy, again, thank you for Baddie Behavior. Fellas, look, that's it. Anything we need to prepare for this week? I don't know what music comes out. I think LL drops, which, it's music. I'm going to have to listen to it because we do the top 5 albums and albums and sneakers at the end of the year. So got to do the research. But that's all I got, y'all. Big announcement coming up soon regarding We Are Something Else podcast and, taking this thing to another tier of entertainment. So that'll be coming hopefully by the end of the month. But that's all I got, y'all. Let's end this on a good note. Where we at?
Go Bills.
There you go. All right, y'all. That's all we got.
Follow us on YouTube at WRSC Podcast.